Hey, the Wealth Sharer family. I am so excited to bring you this video because every day is amazing when God is teaching me lessons. Today, there was a revelation that literally made me recognize that God has been giving me the sign since I was a teenager. So God speaks to me through my hands. And I realized today that I've been getting this sign since I was about 13, 14, 15 years old. And I remember knowing what it was. I don't know if my mom told me what it meant, but it literally would happen and would come true. So through my hands would start to itch. And I always knew when I was going to get money, particularly from my father, my hand would start to itch a day or two before. And lo and behold, without me saying anything to anyone, I will always receive money. Now, as I got older, the left hand started itching. And then I started realizing that meant that I was going to be giving money away, okay? What I used to consider losing money. So my right hand was for receiving and left hand was to give away. Now, my hand started itching probably I think I want to say last week, Thursday. And it was early morning and I felt it and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to give away any money. Like, I don't want to lose anything. No, right? It was such a easy, what is the word? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing blank. It was such a habit to, scratch my hand when I feel it, itching. But as soon as I went to scratch, I was like, oh no, it's my left hand. And I was like, okay, how do I reverse this, right? So I was like, okay, I think I want to say I said a positive affirmation, I'm gaining money. I'm not going to lose any money, right? So lo and behold, something occurred on Monday and I realized that I was going to be giving away money. Okay. And, I just literally was like, God gave me the sign. And it progressed until yesterday. Okay, so today is Tuesday, September, I want to say the 23rd, okay, of 2025. And it started manifesting yesterday. And I want to say it was last Thursday, the sign came in my hand. And it happened today again, right? So it's progressing. Money's, leaving, and I'm more of oh my gosh, God told me. But something in me changed this time around because I had no qualms about it. I wasn't fearful. I didn't feel like I was going to lose anything because it was more of a long-term investment, right? So it was more of something that is not in the now. So I technically don't even need the funds, right? But I'm watching decline happen. And typically people panic. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm losing money. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at this opportunity. And it was also an opportunity for me to connect the dots, and it clicked. God told me it was going to happen. And it's not the first time. This is just the first time I'm happy about it. Okay. This is the first time that I'm changing my thoughts and changing my perception and changing my mindset to realize that there's no losing when it comes to God. And God was giving me a inclination of what was going to happen because I automatically knew what my right and my left hand means when it starts to itch. So it wasn't like it was, far-fetched. It was very familiar to me. But this time I saw prosperity in the decline. And I saw, God just revealing to me that I needed to shift my perspective because I can't, and you can't and should not see anything as a loss. And I can go into, when you experience something that doesn't make you feel good, it's not a loss of self. It's not a loss of a person or loss of, an experience. It's actually a gain. How can you see that situation to help you be able to look at the positive and only see yourself gaining from it, being abundant from it, prosperity is yours, right? There's so much that we can see in these situations and not see it as a loss, because a loss And thinking of losing is a negative mindset. It is a negative way of seeing life. It's a negative way of showing up for yourself. You are already claiming defeat. And I didn't claim defeat. I was just like, oh my goodness. Like when I say the excitement in me, when it clicked to me that God told me. So God was giving me a warning, right? That this situation was going to happen. Now I could have done something and reinvested in different ways and caught another increase. I chose not to. I'm like, you know what? It's a long-term strategy. I'm not going to touch it. I don't need to. And it was just more of the fact that God told me, like for me, it was just like the awe of it. The plan was already set, and God literally showed me what was going to happen in a matter of days. And when I tell you, when my hand starts to itch, it's always in a matter of days. Okay. There's no 2 months, 6 months. It's literally days that I'm going to either receive money and get some additional money, or I'm going to gain by something going down, right? By funds being given outwards, and then there'll be gains later on. Okay. So it's just a change of perspective. So, today I came up with this quote about what it meant for me, which I posted on my social media. So if you haven't seen it already, I'm going to have you say an affirmation with me, okay? And I want you to repeat after me. I am not losing, but I am gaining, okay? Every experience is teaching me how to grow. That is your affirmation. That is what you say. That is what you understand. That is what you believe. Because everything you believe comes to be. Okay, you are becoming what you believe. And if you believe that everything is going to work out for your better good, then you cannot allow anything to make you feel like that statement is a default, right? Like it no longer matters. It's defaulted, and it was just words and they were void because of situation. Absolutely not. We're not doing that. We are staying in the positive. Okay, I'm going to share this tidbit, okay? Last night and this morning, there was a situation that occurred that caused me to be in frustration. And I literally, got over it last night through prayer. That always helps, because I'm like, okay, take everything to God, Terry. Take everything to God, okay? Don't fester it. Talk to God about it. And then God told me about how to stay consistent in me having a positive experience, an experience that I want, and not wavering, okay? I'm going somewhere with this, okay? I want you to connect the dots, okay? So when you are grounded in the experience that you want, you don't allow anything to shift your emotions to bring you in a negative state. That's exactly what God taught me last night and this morning. So God was telling me to stay grounded in the experience that I want. And if my experience is joy, happiness, abundance, prosperity, being a magnet to everything that's great, all this greatness that God has for me, then I cannot alter my emotions and feelings because situations happen that is out of my control, okay? I'm going to create a different podcast on that, but I wanted to share that because when it comes to gains in our life, receiving, open doors, we have to stay connected to that experience. We cannot allow anything to deviate us being grounded in that experience of receiving. So today, it was more of I'm connected to the fact that God is always with me. There's no disconnection. I've found that out, over the past few years that, there's not a door God goes in and out. God is always part of our experience. We are one with God. God is everywhere, like the air we breathe, okay? And with knowing that, that means that I'm always in a space of learning. God is always teaching me how to connect the dots of life and how to manifest the greatest life by recognizing that the connection is always there. So, in part, when it comes to my hand itching, and then, that negative way of me thinking about a loss and not realizing that that was also a way to receive, that there will be things that will make me feel like the market's going down, but it's going to come back up again, right? There's these ebbs and flow of life, right? Everything's not always on up and up. We got to learn how to stay grounded so your mind, your emotions can always stay on a high vibration, stay within good energy, okay? So I really want you all to understand, one, God is always speaking. Two, God is always teaching. And three, you are also part of the equation. So I want you all to understand that you have the ability to help co-create with God. Because when we are staying grounded in faith and trust and believing and becoming that better version of ourselves and surrendering and sacrificing and letting go of the things that are not important, that we used to consider important, that's really not, okay? All those things are helping us and inspiring us to really understand that we are always on an up motion, regardless if things look like it's on a down motion, okay? The down motion are always temporary if you change your perspective, okay? Because there is no stepping backwards, right? If people say, I take 10 steps forward and I go back 5 steps and they feel so far behind, no. Let that go, that thought, that notion that no longer exists. You are always moving forward. Because if you know with you always moving forward, that means that you are always gaining. You're gaining knowledge, experience, you're gaining wisdom, you're gaining clarity, okay? You're always gaining. So today's lesson is you are always gaining. You have to remember the affirmation, I am not losing, but I am gaining. It is about you recognizing that every experience that you are connected to is allowing you to grow and manifest greatness. It is so important for you all to understand how to correlate these experiences and see the positive in it, okay? God taught me about, back in June, how to love and adore the situations that happen to me and not hate any experience, okay? Because sometimes we go through things and it don't feel good. Someone's connected to it. They make us upset. We're like, I don't like that person. I don't like what they did. Now you're having all these flashbacks of the situation that's making you mad, making you frustrated. Now you want to talk about it. When I tell you I understand shifting perspective, shifting perception, shifting how I view life and people and situations, and how I view God as God is helping me shape, mold, and refine me, I want you all to understand every experience that brought you to this very moment, for whenever you're going to watch this video, is part of your journey to help you gain, understand, be enlightened, be in the light, manifest greatness. All of the things are helping you to become the best and better version of yourself. Now, that may seem very eerie. It may seem like, not obtainable. But I want you to know, if you will, that you want to, right? If you have the willpower to do something, you can have anything you want if you understand that nothing is impossible with God, okay? God can do the impossible, which means that you're connected to God in consciousness and in our life, right? Your body's a temple to God. Your mind is connected to God. God hears, sees, and knows everything. With you co-creating, you can help develop into being that person that you want to be. So if you want to be wealthy, you can no longer speak any words of lack. You cannot speak being broke. You cannot even feel it. Okay? Because your feelings also amplify the situation. Your feelings always also comes out in how you speak and how you think and how you move. So when you start to see money moving away from you, or what appears to be removed from your account or going down and declining, and you are seeing lack, that is the wrong position to have if you want to be wealthy. To be wealthy is to know that you are capable of obtaining any amount of money and experiences, because it's not just about the money, that you want, okay? Now, what happens is people tend to allow the time, right, the expiration date that they have in their mind. If it doesn't happen by in 3 months, I no longer believe it, right? They're also not realizing that they're still operating in their old self and not the new self. So when you want God to help you manifest all these things, great relationships, a wonderful husband, being an amazing mother, okay, being an amazing daughter, like there's so many things. When it comes to your career or your business and you want all these great things, there's things you can no longer do. There's things you can no longer think. And there's definitely things you can no longer say and act on. It is a whole complete shift, okay? Mindset shift is more than just your mind. It's also how you correlate and translate what it is that you want into how you are operating, okay? So you have to understand there's a connection to what it is that you want and how you become what you want. Now, you can become those things before you have it, because it's also showing God that you are going to be a good steward of those things, okay? So let's just say you are feeling broke, right? Yesterday, because we're calling that past tense, okay? So yesterday you were feeling broke. Now today, because it's about today, the present moment is what impacts your future, okay? I'm so excited. Your present moment is what impacts your future. So if yesterday you thought you're broke and now today you realize that you are wealthy and you have all this financial abundance and freedom, how is that person going to move? Okay, think about that. How would you operate if you knew that you had financial abundance? How would you carry yourself if you knew that you were financially free? How would you live life if you knew you had no mortgage or rent? What would you do differently? How would you speak differently? How would your character be? Those are the things that you need to sit on, reflect, and understand, so you can start to build the character of the person that you want to become. Don't wait to get it, because by that time you gonna act the daggone fool. Meaning that you're going to be operating in these ways that are not good for you. So if you have not worked on yourself to become that better version, and yes, in present state you are operating as a person who is greedy, or doesn't like to share with others, and see things as lack, then you're never going to operate in a state of giving when it comes to you having money. And I shouldn't say never, because never is very finite, so I won't say never. In the space of you receiving all this money, let's just say you get a higher paying job, so now you have all this increase in your income, that old self is going to show up and it's going to be very arrogant. So you have to do the work so you can show God that you can steward things accordingly, according to God's will, according to what makes God happy in you. I'm always striving to make God happy in everything I do, okay? And how I speak, and how I understand and learn the lessons and apply the wisdom, okay? So those are the ways you need to understand. Build the character of who you want to become by changing how you operate. Now, that will also mean that you're going to have to shift your language with the people you speak to, the people you live with, the people that are at your job. Everything's going to have to change, okay? Because that old you does not serve your future you, okay? I want you to think for a moment, how can my future self adore my current self? What does it mean for my current self to show up as my future self by being and doing the things that are good for you. Okay. So I really want you all to just know that the power lies in you. You have the ability to shift so much, not just for yourself, but for your friends, your family, your spouse, your children, your parents, whoever you're connected to. Because when God makes a shift, he's not just doing it for you, it's to benefit out others as well. Okay. So I just want you all to know that you are gaining and you're not ever losing, even if it looks that way in reality. You have to speak it, you have to think it, and you have to become it. Okay? Bye.